Hello and welcome to West Wales. In today's vlog, the firewood crisis continues. I get the blending board out and finished making up the Rolags to spin Andrew's socks. And I have some thoughts about what I'm going to do with my side hustle business going forward. If you're new here, my name is Becca and you're very welcome to my little corner of West Wales. If you're an old friend, welcome back. Hello, so it's Thursday morning and yesterday's video was good fun, enjoyed doing it. So it was boré, and yesterday evening I span up everything that was left, and I'd been spinning woolen style in the video, but I actually spun worsted style so I could make, oh don't fall over, so I could make something for a warp. So that's all done. Just need to finish it, and yeah, it's good, all good. And I sort of have come to a few conclusions. So if you were here last week, I was really kind of having a bit of a kind of not quite sure what to do moment, and yeah, I think I've come to some conclusions. Right, so I'll turn you around, show you where we are. This is our favourite track to come up. We've been here lots, you've been here lots. And just look how pretty the silver birches are. They're looking really white in amongst the kind of quite drab colours that we've got going around. So I have my foraging bag across my shoulder, and I was thinking that maybe I would forage for some dye plants. Because we've had a lot of trees down, there's quite a lot of ivy actually accessible with berries on. And it makes a very pretty colour, ivy berries. However, I have quite a lot of jobs half done at home, as in fibre arts jobs rather than housework jobs, because they're always half done. And yeah, I'm going to get those finished off before I start a dye pot, I think. So it's fairly cold at the moment, 5 degrees centigrade. If you're in Canada or sort of northern states of America or Sweden or somewhere like that, you're going, that's not cold. It's quite cold for us. We don't really get it that cold. So yeah, a little bit cold for us, but we're all wrapped up. I have hand knitted scarf, hand spun hand knitted scarf, and hand spun hand woven scarf. Can you see? I don't know if you can see. Anyway, there you go. Scarf and upcycled gloves, which were a present. Well, they're mitts really, they're fingerless mitts. So where are they from? Turtle Dove I think they were from, and they were a present from my sister-in-law, who is very generous and buys me lots of nice things when she travels for work, and she's quite often bringing back lovely things from where she's been travelling. But excuse me, but she saw this company Turtle Dove which upcycle wool and cashmere, and she thought I would appreciate it, and she was right, because I do. Okay, right, so what is the plan for the rest of the week? I need to finish carding up or blending Andrew's sock yarn. I finished spinning the boré last night, and I spun it worsted style and much thinner because I want to use it for a warp for a blanket. And what else did I do? No, that's it, that's all I did. And yeah, right. So I'm going to go back to the house, and I'll probably see you a little bit later on. I'm going to get the blending board out and do sort of blending and chatting, I think. I think that's my cunning plan for today. So I'll see you in a bit. So a couple of videos ago, I was using my blending board and blending up some sock yarn. So I did a sample, it's for Andrew, and he just didn't like the red in it. So I have my fibre here. I'm swapping the red for this kind of gold, which is from alder cones. So I just thought I would do some blending and some chatting. Now, when I'm blending for the channel, I quite often have the blending board on the table, but actually when I'm blending kind of just for myself, I actually do it on my lap. So I'm gonna film it on the lap, if that works. Hopefully it'll work. So we'll have a go. Let's see if this works. I'll change I'll change the camera angle and see if it works. So this has a keel on it, and I'm just gonna put fibre on and chat. So I hope you are very well. I hope you enjoyed the video, the last video, which was the Boré video. I learnt a huge amount by doing it, and actually since I recorded it, I've found somewhere that does the Boré fibre that has been dehaired. So there's a limited supply, and I don't know why I didn't think of this before. I suppose I sort of bought the fibre before I really investigated it properly, I think is the reason. But the author, Jane Cooper, who is the author of The Lost Flock that I was talking about in the video, she sells some fibre for hand spinners, and it is dehaired. And she's in North Ronaldsay, anyway, wherever it is, and the mill there has a dehairing machine. So at some point I'm going to be able to get something that's quite different to what I was spinning on Tuesday. You saw it, well no, it wasn't Tuesday, was it? No, I was actually spinning it on the weekend. You saw it on Wednesday. So it's yeah, it'll be really good to try the dehaired stuff, but that won't be probably until there's a 2025 clip. Although, as I said to somebody on Instagram, I think I mistyped and I said 2035. I was like, no, I'm not going for 2035 clip. That's not what I meant. I meant 2025. Oh dear. There's also a poll running on the community tab, just asking what you'd like to see a bit more of on the channel. I have had some requests for a bit more about colour workshops, and also I've asked whether people want to see more spinning techniques or whether they want to see more fleece preparation. So let me know. I mean, there is an element that I just kind of record what I'm doing anyway, and these kind of more vloggy style videos are definitely what I'm kind of doing anyway. Right, so that's my base layer of the greens. Actually, I'm going to put a bit more of a base layer on. Let's get some more greens. I'm not being very scientific about this. Sometimes I kind of weigh out the different colours, and I'm really kind of very particular with how much of each one I use. But I'm not going to be with these. Andrew liked the sort of the mottled green effect with the pops of colour, but he just did not like that red. So we won't put the red in. They're his socks. I think he's wrong, but we're allowed to disagree. We don't disagree on much, but that he didn't really like, so we won't put it in. Put a bit of white on just to have a different shade, because I mean this white will really blend in. It will just kind of have some lighter patches of green. I don't like to overload the tines. What else? Oh, let's have a blue stripe down here. I haven't got a lot of blue, so I'm not going to use a lot. And then a purple stripe. nice gold stripe. And some bit of texture and shininess from the recycled sari silk. I might put a bit more of that in right next to that purple. So it's going to be a bit more of it than the sample, but I think that should be fun. So I have been thinking a little bit more about my whole kind of, as I said, my existential crisis I was having last week about whether I'm going to go kind of full in with like YouTube and fibre arts, or whether I'm going to go full in with the old graphic design and illustration and try and get a licensing deal for some of my cards. So when I say licensing deal, it means that basically you sell your design to a manufacturer and they pay you a royalty for the amounts, kind of whatever it is that you've put it on that they sell. And I mean, it's hard work, but hey, everything's hard work, isn't it? And with much sort of umming and ahhing and going for walks and kind of meditating on it, I've sort of decided to go full in with YouTube and put some content on my website, which literally has had 2 blog posts on it since the website went live, which was back in January. And you know, I have a little motto, a little kind of mantra: don't turn a hobby you love into a job you hate. So with that in mind, I do not want to sell hand spun yarn. Spinning is my kind of happy place. It's where I relax, and it's kind of good fun to demonstrate it, but I don't want the pressure of producing hand spun. So that element I'm absolutely sure of. I mean, obviously, the more popular the channel gets, the more kind of advertising revenue I will get from YouTube. I mean, that's not reliable, but then, you know, I don't actually need to make a fortune. I need a part-time income, and you know, that's in the big scheme of things not a huge amount of money, but it's a huge amount when you haven't got it. So there is that element. And at the moment, people are very kindly buying me a coffee every so often, which just helps to pay for the, oh, I've got this all wrong, helps to pay for the like the editing software and all sorts of things like that. So that's right. Oh, made a bit of a hash of that. Let's kind of redo that a little bit. Yeah, that's not very perfect, is it? Let's it's going to be a bit messy, that last one. And then, right, what was I talking about? Yeah, so and then yeah, I maybe will think about maybe writing an ebook, or maybe doing selling some fibre, but very much on a sort of a online pop-up sort of situation. I don't want to do the old Patreon kind of putting content behind a paywall. I think if I actually sort of wrote a course, that would be completely different, but it wouldn't be an expensive course. It would be like a mini course, quite a sort of well, I say not a hugely expensive one, but that maybe is an option. So I'm going to give it 12 months and I'm going to go for it. Because I was, yeah, as I was saying, I've kind of been toying with the idea of designing fabric and licensing my artwork, and you know, so that I can absolutely say, don't focus on it and just really focus on putting some content together, putting out YouTube videos, and just getting the website really the way you want it, because it isn't the way I want it at the moment. The basic design is done, and I've probably said this before, I use WordPress rather than anything like Squarespace or Wix or anything like that, just because you've got more flexibility and, well, lots of reasons, but I also know how to use WordPress, and it's not as complicated as people make out. It really isn't. So I just need to get some content on there. But writing content is time consuming. I am dyslexic, so it's really time consuming because I have to make sure that actually it's not complete gobbledygook what I've written, which is entirely possible sometimes, and just through just bad spelling and bad grammar really. But I can generally kind of run it through Grammarly, and Grammarly will pick up my nonsense generally. I mean, not always, because it's only recognising misspelt words. So, I mean, it's quite good at grammar, and if you put a misspelt word or a kind of word that has two spellings in the wrong context, it will pick it up, but sometimes it doesn't. So, yeah. Anyway, that's what I'm kind of settled on and feeling very relaxed and happy about it. I'm not going to go, it's not going to happen overnight. This is going to be a process. But I'm going to carry on with sort of 2, sometimes 3 videos a week. I mean, I do still have my Zazzle shop, so it will still keep kind of ticking over and selling. It's just I'm not going to be spending those sort of 2 hours in the morning putting new products on. I will maybe spend 2 hours once a week sort of managing it and doing a few products. So it's not completely gone away. It's just I do not want to focus on it, if that makes sense. Right, this is going to get a bit boring for you if I just carry on doing this for as long as it takes, isn't it? So I'm going to carry on with this, and I will see you when I've finished. So here's how they turned out. Pretty pleased with them. I'm waiting for Andrew to do some photography for me so I can put it on the website. Writing about colour blending, blending board. But I am pretty pleased with them. But it's food for thought. I'm just wondering whether, you know, I can offer little Rolags like that for sale. I mean, I know people do. I'm thinking about it. Do you buy little things like that? I mean, normally in a pack of 6 I've seen them. Is that something you buy? So, time to get on with the day. It's Friday. It's cold, it's wet, it's blown a hoolie, and we have run out of firewood. And the firewood delivery does not come until Tuesday. So I've come down in the car to pick up some anthracite, I think. They do sell wood, but it's not very good, and you know, it's just a few logs in a sack. It's not great really, but the anthracite, we can use it in our stove. It's low smoke. I think it might even be Welsh as well. I'm fingers crossed it's Welsh anthracite, which is goodly stuff. And because my granddad and my dad both grew up in a mining village in South Wales where they did in fact mine anthracite, then I have used it before. My granddad only ever heated with coal, with anthracite, and when we used to go round to his, when he lived in near Llandilo, then that was all he used to have was anthracite, so I do sort of know about it. And my dad has only really changed to only using wood since he had a bit of woodland that was suitable for cutting his own wood. But we didn't do that until, well, oh gosh, when did my dad buy his bit of woodland? I say my dad, it was my mum and my dad, they both bought it. Yeah, whenever that was, quite a long time ago now. But he'd already used, you know, he always used anthracite. So although the fire at home, at my mum and dad's home, was only back up in the winter, we were all used to actually starting a fire and having the fire and looking after a coal fire, or in this case, an anthracite fire. So that's my plan, and hopefully a sack will last us until Tuesday. Anyway, let's go and find some. I'm pretty sure they sell it in the garage, so we'll go and have a look. Okay, I was wrong. They don't sell it anymore. They only sell this stuff. But I think this stuff will work. Well, let's buy a sack, take it home, and see if I can get the fire lit. So this vlog's getting uber long again, so I think I'm going to do two. I'm going to do a Friday and a Sunday. I've had a request to show you what I do with all the things that I find in the thrift shops and the treasure that I find on the beach, and I think that would be a really great Sunday video. So that is my intention for Sunday, is I'm going to just go through what I've been doing with the bits and pieces that I found on the recent thrift hauls. And you probably see my washing is hanging up in the multi-purpose conservatory. And I'm sure I've said this before, we're like 500 square foot, this house. Do you know what? I'm going to actually measure it at some point because I don't think it's quite 500 square foot. And all the rooms kind of have multi-functions. So this is a little add-on that was added in the 1990s by the owner in that time. It isn't heated, although we do have a heater, if that makes sense. So it's not part of the kind of central heating. Well, we don't have central heating, we have economy 7, but it doesn't have an economy 7 in heater. Okay. Let's start again. It doesn't have an economy 7 heater. It has a wall panel heater, which I will show you in a moment. So in a moment we'll have a look. But one of the things I do is I put Andrew's shirts and various things, that's my shirt, Andrew's shirts, on, there you go, that's my shirt. I put them on hangers, and there are hooks on the ceiling, and I just hang them down. And when it is disgusting outside, which it is at the moment, it's fine, it dries in here, and although it's not heated, it works. Right, I'm going to show you the heater so you see what I mean. So that's the panel heater. And don't have it on most of the time because it costs a fortune to run it. But it is very helpful when we want to be out here for maybe breakfast on a Sunday or something like that. So I'm going to leave it here and I will see you on Sunday. Bye till then.